This is emotional mastery of alchemy. If you have a horrible feeling that seems to linger in your field, get really excited. Because the only reason why you are not feeling joyful and excited when you're having a bad feeling is because you identified with the bad feeling. You are not your body. You are not your emotions either. Because the emotions, they are information. And so once you realize that you just got some new information, it's like the notification bar on your email. That's what emotions are. But it means that you have to go and look. If you judge the feeling and you identify with it, you're just going to ignore it and try and pretend that it's not there. That's not the way to healing your body and to integrate these things. The way to do it is treat it like a notification on your phone when you get a bad feeling. It can be when you have a thought. It can be more of a general feeling, like you just feel yucky throughout the day. Either way, it's good news because you're about to learn something new or integrate something, and that means more energy for you. And so the way that you do that is that you go into the feeling and start to use your focus, because your focus is what dictates what goes. You can choose to focus on whatever you want. So if you then start to put your focus on that yucky feeling, you just hold your attention just the same way as you can feel your finger and the pulsation inside of the finger with your focus, if you just choose to. The same way, we just focus on that feeling, that yucky feeling. And stay with it, stay feeling it, stay curious about it, and start to ask it questions. Who are you? What is this? What are you here to teach me? And first, you can maybe start by saying, is this even mine? Do I need to... Maybe this is not for me. Maybe it's someone else. Someone else's feelings, because they jump around. We are floating in energies. Whenever someone has been somewhere in a particular place, let's say a house, and they have had a frequency for years and years and years, let's say that they were depressed or they were struggling, if they leave, the person that comes into that room will feel that energy and would feel like, there's something off here. That's how you can feel ghosts and things like that. They're just energies lingering that hasn't comprehended itself, or they're just confused, or they're definitely lacking knowledge. And you are there as a reader, like, because that's what you are. You are reading the energy, and you can do something with it. That's the alchemy, right? But the alchemy is just your light on it without judgment. And once you do that, it starts to change. Because first of all, your resistance changed, right? so the resistance to the feeling in the first place, that shift is a major one, because suddenly there's, oh, I have options. I don't have to focus on this, but it's here. So it wants my attention. It's asking for my attention. And so it's still a process to really ingrain this into the system, because we have been taught something else. We've been taught to identify with it because that's what everyone else has done. And maybe you're there too right now, and that's completely fine. But I'm telling you, there's a depth to your handling of your emotions and your feelings that is very beneficial. Because once you feel deeply, you're healing your body. Because that's what healing is. You just have to get to a place where you're calm enough and a safe environment, and or in nature or something like that. And then just getting to a place where you can really relax. But you can also help it to relax. You don't have to just meditate and things like that. I mean, you can do certain things like take a bath. You can do like physical things, but also energetical things, like injecting calm and just deciding that, okay, now we're actually going to relax the body. Oh, I can notice some tension there. I'm letting that go. Oh, I could feel some in my stomach in certain areas. Okay, so I'm relaxing that. Just that feels better because we've relaxed the system more. And then start to feel into that feeling. And once you start to really feel it, it's like it's not you get that it's not you. That is actually literally a different feeling. And maybe you won't feel this right away, but maybe you will. But regardless, ask it, who are you? What are you here to teach me? And then just let it be. But stay with it. Don't go do other things. Like make sure that you take some space, or at least you can do other things, but make sure that this is a priority, because that's how you prioritize the body. This is how it actually looks. Like you have to actually pay attention to when something like this comes up and actually do something about it. And that's the practice. There has to be some practice to actually go through these things. You can do it yourself. Sometimes it's good with a mentor, but you can do it yourself. That's why I'm making this video, so that I'm trying to empower you to do it yourself. Because once we are able to do that, we are able to go through a lot of layers of learning, really. Because that's what all of these are. They are learning. So different, oh, I didn't look at that in this way, or like things will pop up after you ask the question. Things you just trust life to show you. And it's not something that you have to, where's the, like it's not necessarily that it will be a thought. It could come in form of an image. It could come in the form of a person. And then you're seeing maybe an interaction during the day. Like life can speak to you in so many different ways. And sometimes you just get it. Like, oh, it's because of that. Sometimes it's just that simple. But it's important that you ask a question and you wait and you leave it space, because you have to get into a mode of actually receiving the answer. That needs to happen too. But first you have to acknowledge that you have the space to actually, okay, this is actually a notification. I need to go and tend to this. And just excuse yourself as if you got a notification from work. Because it's actually much more important than that. Because unless you tend to this is your livelihood, literally. Because once you deal with these things, suddenly you get that client. Suddenly it feels better again at work. Suddenly you are just receiving that extra 1,000 that you were hoping for, or that extra client, or that extra promotion, or that whatever it is, that boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Those things come as a result of this type of work. But it is work. You have to actually do it. So there's a training that needs to happen here. And then once you see it, it's you get connected again. That's the benefit also. Like you feel more connected again because you're more connected to yourself. Because there was an energy that was interfering with this deep connection between me and my body. And this is the dance between the masculine and the feminine. This is me being the masculine, prioritizing what's important because I see it for the body so that the body can function better. So I hope that helped you. I'm sure that I'm going to talk more about this because this is a very key component to your healing and anyone else's healing. Because all of the modalities, the only thing they're trying to point at is to the thing that actually is the thing that needs to go. That's what this is all about. Like whatever modality, whatever, if it's breathing or therapy or inner child, this and that and the other, they're all geared to get to that feeling. And so once, and for that to really work, and for it to actually not be just a mental thing, because you can do inner child work mentally, and that does not really much. It does a little bit in terms of manifestation, but it doesn't really shift the energetics of the body, which is the whole point of us coming into the body and actually living this experience as who we are, right? Because then all of these energies needs to be tended to. They need to be worked through. And start by acknowledging once you get a bad feeling and start to celebrate. Yes, I get to learn something new. Yes. So I hope this helped. Please let me know if you have any questions about what I'm sharing, because I am trying to explain something that is feeling like it's very individual, but at the same time, it's universal. Like we all have this spaceship, and there are certain feelings and certain sensations that mean certain things. Once you have felt the emotion, that's all that needs to happen. And whatever realizations that come as a result of that, and by you asking, that's all you need to do. That is the processing. And then usually that could lead to a realization like, oh, I didn't see that before. Things like that. And that's the gift that feeling had to offer you. That's when you actually have gone through the layers and then found the gem. That's the alchemy. And the alchemy is basically your mastery of this process. That's how you do alchemy, emotional alchemy. And that emotional alchemy is something that will directly affect your reality. Directly. Because you're literally removing a little splinter from yourself. That every splinter you have inside will be reflected outside in one way, shape, or form. But once you remove the splinter, it gets removed outside also. Or at least you get to see it in other people because you don't have the splinter. And then you can point it out. Hey, you got a splinter there. Maybe you should check that out. That would be very helpful for you, because when I did that, this happened. Right? So that's what I wanted to share. This is emotional mastery of alchemy. And if you're interested in learning more, there's a link in the description. And if you want to dive in deeper and master this, there's options for that. All right, take care.